Hi, I'm John Malos. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Thursday morning. Glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about bariatric surgery. That's right, Fresno Heart and Surgical Center. We have a patient, we have a doctor in the house. Are you up for surgery or not? Is it a good idea in your opinion? Do you know anyone who has had it? 436-ME-TV, option 11, the full hour. We'll talk about it. Back in just a moment. Back here on the program on a Thursday morning. Glad you're here on Connect with me on MeTV Fresno as we approach the weekend on this 4th of July. Still a weekend? Not quite. We're past the 4th of July weekend, but coming up on another weekend. Boy, can't wait for that, right? Hey, a quick programming note for tomorrow. Congressman Jim Costa is going to be here. You know, Congress has been on vacation this entire week because of 4th of July, and so they resume on Monday in the Senate. I know Jim Costa is not part of the Senate. You don't have to tell me that. But the Senate is going to resume talk about the health care bill and all the rest. And I'm sure that Jim Costa will have a lot to say about that because Congress already passed their version of the health care bill, the Republicans anyway. And so we'll see what he says about that. We'll also talk about Donald Trump's trip overseas, the G20, and his meeting with Vladimir Putin. We'll get his take on North Korea and all the rest. And on Monday, Dennis Hart. He will, I guess, dissect what's going on in the world of politics, and that'll be a very interesting show with Dennis Hart. It usually generates thousands upon thousands of calls. Not really, but it sure seems like it. When he's on here, the phones just light up. Dennis really gets them revved up, I got to tell you. But today we're going to talk about a very important topic, kind of a barn burner show here today because this is a hot topic, this bariatric surgery issue. A lot of people having it, a lot of famous people too. We'll get into that. But for now, you're watching us live on Comcast Channel 375 as usual. It's Comcast Cable, Xfinity, 10 to 11 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday. It's a call-in show, as you know by now. Hey, if you don't have Comcast Cable, I wouldn't lose sleep over it. 43.6, 13.1 over-the-air broadcast if you have one of those digital antennas hanging from the rafters right here at Ventura TV. Come in and buy one. Or, you know, you can get those anywhere. But we give you a great deal here with either Dennis, Hector, Rafi. Just come in and see one of them. They will give you a great deal. 2 o'clock in the afternoon is the replay, 13.6 YouTube. 8 o'clock tonight, you can catch the other replay on a different station. See how many stations we're on? 4.6 Biz TV. And, of course, you know, after that, it ends up on YouTube forever. Today's topic is weight loss surgery, and I got to tell you something, my friends. It's become commonplace across the landscape. In fact, let me just rattle off a few names. I mean big-time names, celebrity names who've had this weight loss surgery, and see if you recognize any of these names. How about Randy Jackson? You know who he is? How about Al Roker, Roseanne Barr, Star Jones, Carney Wilson, Sharon Osbourne? How about Rex Ryan, the football coach? Remember him? He coached the Jets at one time. He went from like this to like this. He's almost like he could be on the cover of GQ magazine. Let's roll the videotape, show you exactly what I'm talking about today. Want to introduce you to a young woman right here in the city of Fresno who had surgery for the sole purpose of losing weight. She was my guest on this program just a few months back, all part of a feature that we did on Whole Body Boot Camp, a place where women can work out without men having to stare them down, my friends. It's an all-women's thing, and it's a good thing, too. For the second time, meet Morgan McGrath, 36 years old, or 37 now, who later this month will compete in the indoor rowing event at the World Games in Poland. Her story, not unusual, but it appears to be the norm with some people now. In 2013, Morgan lost her father to cancer. Her weight had ballooned to 425 pounds. So the following year, she underwent, see if I can pronounce this correctly, vertical sleeve gastrectomy, a form of bariatric surgery. The surgery took place at the Fresno Heart and Surgical Center, And at one time, Morgan had dropped from 424 or 425 to 183. She since has gained some of that weight back, but it's up to 205. But some of that is muscle. Her workouts are intense. Her diet, I'm not sure about her diet. We'll ask her about what Morgan munches on for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Questions, 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 my friends. How safe is the surgery? What are the side effects? Long-term risks? Does everybody qualify for the surgery? Well, my friends, Morgan is here with her surgeon. Live in our studio right now is Morgan McGrath. And the man who performed the surgery on her, Dr. Kelvin Higa, he leads the surgical team at the Fresno Heart and Surgical Center right here in the city of Fresno. We'll talk about what Morgan did, or actually what the doctor did to Morgan. That's more like it. And, we'll talk about this surgery. How safe is it? And do you qualify for this kind of surgery? Are you worried about your weight? As we get older, we do tend to put on weight because maybe our metabolism slows down, maybe we slow down, we don't think as much about exercise, we're busy with wife, kids, work, husband, kids, work, whatever the case may be, and then first thing you know, our suits are fitting just a little bit tighter, or maybe they don't fit at all. 436-ME-TV, option 11. We're back with our program, A Surgical Show. We're going to try to take the knife to this one. Back in just a moment.
Tune in to Heartland for the best in true country music. Relive vintage specials, one-of-a-kind concerts, and country music's earliest videos. Heartland is the heart of country. The only place where you can find country music, country stars, and country lifestyles 24/7. Heartland, the heart of country.
Now on channel 13.2.
Explore strange new worlds on MeTV. Seek out new life.
I've seen old photographs of this period. Let's get out of here.
And new civilizations. Boldly go to Mayberry and the Andy Griffith Show.
Weeknights at 8 on MeTV Fresno.
Back here on the program with our two guests, and welcome back, Morgan. Good to see you. How are you feeling these days?
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. I feel great.
Okay, you're getting ready for that competition later this month. And Dr.
Yes.
Higa, welcome to the program. So glad you took the time. No surgery today, huh?
No surgery today.
All right. Well, thanks for being here. Before I ask the first question, I'll let the caller chime in first. I've been patient here. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air with the patient and the doctor, Dr. Higa.
Hello. My name is Richard. My wife had somewhat this surgery about 14 years ago. I don't know if it's bariatric or one of the things like the lady had maybe, but the trouble with what she had when she had it was her stomach wouldn't start. I believe she had her stomach stapled or something, and so it took about a couple of weeks, but they were really afraid she wouldn't get it started again, but she did. She's really healthy, and she's lost a lot of weight, and she's in her 70s. I'm not going to say how old she is. but I'm 77, so you can figure it out how old she might be. So,
22.
But she loves it. Now she wants me to do it. I weigh about 250, 252, 249, and I'm about 5'11", but...
well, the doctor
I don't feel bad.
The doctor is here. Do you
want
to ask him any questions about the possible surgery?
Yeah, put him on, please.
No,
I appreciate it.
he can listen. He's listening. He's listening.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What is the thing for me? I'm 77. Is it possible I can still have it? My wife wants me to do it. So, what do you think? Am I?
Well, I've been married for a long time, and I always do whatever my wife tells me to do. So my first advice to you is always listen to your wife.
Is that the key to success?
Well, I think it is in my case. But, so here's the thing. Surgery is just one aspect of therapy. What you're asking for is what's the best way to be healthier, to control the weight, diabetes, blood pressure, sleep apnea, whatever is associated with the weight. It's always about not just doing an operation. It's about treating you as a patient, as an individual. And so surgery might be an option for you, but treatment is important. So this is something I would talk to your primary care doctor, your primary physician about. Tell them you're worried about your weight, about your medical problems, and if your primary physician thinks that surgery may be the answer, then we can take a look at you too. But I know this is a surgical program, but it's not just about surgery.
It's more than surgery. We'll
Well,
get into that.
I usually do what my wife says. We've been married for 53 years, and
It's obvious you
it's
do what
just,
she says. If
I'm
you
just
want to
kinda
be married
scared
that long.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
kind of scared about that surgery, though, because I hear people like Dan Blocker had little surgery and he didn't wake up, and it's just,
We
you
were
know.
just talking about that.
we were just talking about Dan Blocker, and
Dan
he died of what now?
He died of a pulmonary embolism. He died of a blood clot during a gallbladder operation.
Yeah, totally
Yeah,
different.
gallbladder. I had mine removed a long time ago, and I felt good, but it just happens, I guess.
So,
to some
so
people.
everything invasive, all surgery, even taking a medication has complications associated with this. Surgery, like what Morgan had, is really life changing. It's part of a total package. You really have to consider everything involved. Now, for your wife, she's a testimony. She probably had some problems, but she's here today. She's probably here today only because she sought therapy 14 years ago. And she's here now because the surgery is still lasting. Now, there are a lot of patients who have had surgery 14, even 20 years ago that may not have done so well, and thinking that the operation has failed. And I have to say that it's not really just the operation, but there's been an evolution of procedures and of therapies that go along with this. So it's not as simple as just coming in, having an operation, going home, winning a gold medal, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm on Norco and stuff like that from my back and everything, and I don't know about all that stuff, you know, if Norco or Fixer and all that stuff. Neurotin. I just don't know if that stuff is going to be, you know. I've talked to my doctor, but she's a woman. I don't know. Maybe I should have got a male doctor. I don't know. She don't like to talk about things like that. I'm gonna have to get her in the office.
I have no comment on that.
I have a comment not about the gender, but I have a comment about the reluctance for physicians to talk about weight issues with their patients because it's uncomfortable.
Oh, there is a problem there?
Oh, absolutely.
Because?
Well, because think about it. Everybody's self-conscious about their weight. And as a physician, you're going to your patient and say, you know what, you need to lose a few pounds. And Morgan, you can talk about this, you know, from your standpoint, how it is an uncomfortable conversation with anybody, including your physician. And the physician doesn't want to really bring it up for fear of offending you as a patient. But as a healthcare provider, we should beyond that. We should always look at the health of an individual, and a lot of times that means weight reduction or control of weight. Morgan, you want to talk about some of that uncomfortable issues you have?
I'll let her do that just to close out the phone call here real quick. Caller, go ahead. Do you have anything else? Because we're going to move right along here. Anything else you'd like to ask real quick before I let Morgan say her piece?
No,
here?
that's fine. Thank you. I appreciate it, Doctor. I appreciate it, Morgan, for you helping me out. So that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, quickly, if this caller or anybody else wants to get a hold of you or the people at the Heart and Surgical Center, what number would they call, Doctor?
Call 433 Aaron 8000 866 8566.
Okay, say that one more time. 866 433 8558. So Morgan, let me put this call on hold here. Caller, let me ask you to hang on a moment if I could. Turn down the sound on your television set. So did you feel uncomfortable in talking to Dr. Higa or any other doctor about your weight? Because especially the fact that you're a woman, and women are very self-conscious about their weight. Not that men aren't, but I think maybe more so for women. Am I right?
Absolutely. I'm kind of a special case where I felt very confident even at a heavy weight. I definitely didn't go into surgery because I wanted to look better. But that is
why'd you go into surgery?
For a lot of different medical reasons, and that's the reasons why my doctor did approach me. They approached me for the reasons why the doctors should be doing it.
Was it your primary?
My primary, actually not just my primary, family members who are doctors, my OBGYN, you name it. I was, somebody talked to me. I didn't do it until I was ready, but the reason why that conversation a lot of times doesn't happen is because it's such a sensitive personal issue that, if somebody says, oh, you need surgery, then to them they're saying, oh, I'm fat and ugly. When that's not any doctor who brings up a bariatric surgery is not bringing it up because you're fat or they think that you need physical improvement. They're bringing it up because you have high blood pressure, you have hyperlipidemia, you have GERD, you have obstructive sleep apnea. For me, these are the reasons why I did a surgery. It was not because I wanted to be a size 12 or be a size whatever. It was because I had severe hypertension. I had 3 blood pressure medications I was on, and they were on high doses. My father had multiple heart attacks. I have a family history of heart disease. So these became, and as I got older, these are becoming very serious issues. I had severe obstructive sleep apnea.
You're really getting up there at 37.
Well,
but
it's a little different from like when you're in your 20s and that
I
blood
know.
pressure. I'm watching these pills, these dosages go up and up and up.
But see, I didn't start with my blood pressure medication until I was in my 50s. So you started much earlier than I did, and so that's like a red flag, doctor, at that age?
Well, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. You think a young person on these medications, that's not healthy at all.
No, you shouldn't have, not at that age.
But I think what Morgan brings up is one of those things we have to look at the operation. It's not all about weight loss. Weight loss, you might think of obesity as a disease, but really it's a symptom of a disease.
Meaning
that there are more things that I think what the viewers should know, and what everybody should know, is that obesity, the weight gain, isn't about someone's psychological issues. It's not about being lazy. It's not about just giving up. There are real medical reasons why people put on weight and gain weight and stay weight, and why you can't get the weight off through traditional diet and exercise.
All right, let's take this call here. Go ahead, you've been patient. You're on with Dr. Higa, you're on with Morgan. What's your question or comment? Caller.
Well, I am up for a review for the surgery. I don't know which surgery I'm referred for, but I weigh 415 pounds, and I do have diabetes, sleep apnea, and high blood pressure. In 1999, I was pinned between the car and the truck, almost broke my back, and I went through a divorce, and I gained almost 200 pounds since then.
Wow.
And I want to know to the doctor, how do you get approved for the surgery, and what how can I say this? What qualifications do I need to get the surgery? I mean, I know I meet the doctor's limit because I am so heavy, but I'm just worried because this surgery scares me a lot.
Okay.
Because I am a diabetic.
Yes, no, it really sounds like you're someone that we can really help out quite a bit. What we need to do is get you involved with our program, and that involves you calling it, attending one of our free seminars, or an online seminar that explains all the aspects of what we want to accomplish, and then making an appointment to see one of my surgeons, one of my people in the office, and taking those steps forward. It's not a quick process. This is a life-changing process, and it's designed to be that way because there's so many things involved. But the first thing is to understand and recognize that there's a problem. The second thing is that we can help, and you're not alone. And give us a call, and we'll be there to help you.
All right, caller, are you still there? How old are you, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
I am 43 years old.
Oh, that's young.
Pretty young.
He's right around your age.
What?
So,
That's way older than you.
I used to play sports, and I used to weight lift and run a lot, but like I said, when you go through like a major accident and you suffer depression, and you just gain weight because those psychiatric medications help you gain weight, and
so
they don't tell you that. But
is that how your weight gain started after the accident, and then you slipped into depression?
Yeah.
So is that common, doctor?
Oh, absolutely. Depression, tragic things that happen in life can often be the start of all of this. And so that needs to be looked at too. It's not just, doing an operation or prescribing some pills. It's about taking care of the entire person. You know, it's kind of interesting that so many athletes have this problem after they retire. We have a special program with ex-NFL stars because they often put on a lot of weight, become diabetic, and so we have special programs in order to help them through this process as well.
You're talking NFL players?
Yes.
Any baseball players? Basketball?
They don't seem to have as much of the issue of that.
Football, I mean, you're talking about linemen, linebackers, they're big men.
Exactly.
So if they don't work out with that regimen that they were used to, then they tend to gain weight.
Well, and they can't. Their bodies are broken by the time they retire, or they retire because they're broken, and you know, and they have this habit of really putting on the calories and all the pharmaceuticals that they may or may not use during the times.
That's right. That's right. Caller, I appreciate your time. Give Dr. Higa and his staff a call over there at the Fresno Heart and Surgical Center. We'll get about that number after the break if you'll continue watching the show. But good luck to you, and just give them a call. Maybe they can help you out. Just go in for a consultation. That won't cost you a dime, I don't think, will it?
No, the seminars are free.
Okay. Caller, you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, on Tuesday, I was just hoping you'd post that number there pretty soon.
Yeah, I'll give that number out again after the break, so just continue to listen. I appreciate the phone call. Good luck to you, and, you know, boy, try to keep a positive attitude. Tough right now, 43, and what did he say? It was 400 and something, 15 pounds, yeah. All right, back here with Dr. Kelvin Higa of the Fresno Heart and Surgical Center, Morgan McGrath, who was his patient, and she lost quite a bit of weight, went through the surgery. We'll talk more about that and take more of your phone calls, 436-MeTV, option 11. Back in a moment. Aaron, what?
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
A top secret location. It's the spies who love me, bringing together MeTV's top super spies to fight evil at a memorable moment's notice. They're daring.
That's right.
Brave.
Now what are we gonna do?
The best we can.
Suave.
Does that apply to me, Oscar?
Possibly.
And smart.
The old finger in the gun trick.
Maxwell Smart.
MeTV Fresno, channel 43.6 and Xfinity 187.
Back here on the program, I do want to give that phone number out to that last caller and all the rest of the viewers. Fresno Heart and Surgical Center, if you want to go in for a consultation, free of charge. It would be 866-433-8558. 866-433-8588. I want to do a viewer email here just real quick, and it says, let me see here if I can read this. I am 42 years old, a male, recently took a stress test and was diagnosed with hypertension and at peak running uphill. So 42 years old, hypertension, a little bit overweight. Let me put this call on hold. Hang on, caller. Any suggestions for this viewer who emailed us a question?
I think that's for me, not for you, huh, Morgan? I guess so.
Go ahead, Morgan. Go ahead. Let me see if there's anything else to it. Oh, yeah. I was told I need to lose 50 pounds, low end of the obesity chart. Also believe I have sleep apnea, never been tested. Losing weight is a huge, huge struggle. Any recommendations for our viewer that just sent this email in? Hang on, caller. Morgan? Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Morgan. You can start.
Go to a free seminar, get more information, get educated.
But can you give them free advice just based on your experience, aside from the surgery? Because I know you just didn't go in and just have surgery and then you went and lied down on the couch and watched MeTV 24/7.
Yeah, no, the surgery, that is something that's very, very important. The surgery is not a magic surgery that fixes everything. It is a powerful tool. And, you know, it's amazing. It's an amazing tool.
So
but it's
what
just
do you
the first
do if
step.
you can't lose the weight and you really don't you're really not obese enough to qualify for the surgery, but you're borderline? What do you do to lose that weight?
Diet and exercise. You learn nutrition, learn portion controls, learn to eat better, even if it's just substituting certain things out. Get active, find something that you're passionate about. I mean, we know if it's something just going to the gym and you hate going to the gym, you're not going to keep doing it. You have to find something that you enjoy. If it's hiking, if it's joining a sports team, whatever it is, find something that gets you out there and gets you to be active.
Does it boil down to just eating less?
No, it doesn't. I honestly don't eat all that much less than I did before. It's eating the right things and being more active.
Eating the right things and being more active. Doctor, can you add anything to that?
Yeah, it might surprise everyone to understand that most of our patients aren't really gorging themselves or overeating to the extent that you think they would.
Really?
It's just it's about a biologic set point, and why it's so hard for people to lose weight, even 5, 10, let alone 50 pounds, is that your body develops, and it's beyond your conscious control, an area where it's comfortable at, given your lifestyle, stress, sleep deprivation, all these things kind of come together, as Morgan said. And it's really hard to move out of that area once your body has gotten to a certain set point. And so typical diet and exercise programs, as most people have found out, are really just don't work. They just don't work. You go into a calorie deficit mode, a diet, what happens? Your metabolic rate slows down. And so then you reach a new set point, and then you give up, you gain the weight back, only you've starved yourself, so you have less lean body mass, more fat mass, and it's even harder the next time around.
So just
sounds very typical, right?
So just eating, yeah, it does sound typical, but it just eating the right things with the right amount of portion and exercise is really the trick?
It is essential for health, but not necessarily effective for weight loss. I mean, if you think about The Biggest Loser, for example, and this was a study that was published and looked at, and actually the New York Times actually took this over, where every one of these individuals with intensive exercise and diet and everything lost 200 pounds.
Right.
And every one of them gained the weight back. And every one of them, their metabolic rate went way down when they lost the weight. Now, what's different about surgical procedures like what Morgan had, it actually increases your metabolic rate. So it makes it possible. And when she says that she eats almost the same as she did before surgery.
Yeah, I was shocked by that.
It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Because now she's at a new set point and she has to be at an equilibrium. You see? So this is not, it's not what people think. And this is what I want to drive home. It's not, now with 50 pounds, you may not be qualify for a surgical procedure, but you certainly qualify for treatment. And there are 5 or 6 long-term medications now approved by the FDA for weight loss, along with the proper exercise and diet and that sort of thing. Can be very effective.
Hang on, caller. Get to you in just a moment. Be very patient. I will take your call in a minute here, but you mentioned The Biggest Loser. You know Rachel Fredrickson, 260 pounds when she started that show. She made news a couple of years ago because at the start, 260. By the show's end, she was 150. After the show ended, after she left that show, she lost another 40 pounds. All told, she lost 155 pounds, and she weighed a mere 105. But here's the key. She worked out 6 hours a day. Is what she did healthy?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, certainly the more exercise you do, the better off you are. That's a full-time job to work out 6 hours a day, right?
Yeah. I don't know how she did that, but she did.
And, it's one of those things where it is possible for some people that exercise and diet does work, but for the vast majority, it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, if you look at statistically, commercial products like Weight Watchers and Nutrisystem and Jenny Craig and all the gym memberships and things like that, is it healthy? Absolutely it's healthier, but for absolute weight loss in the category we're talking about has not been shown to be effective.
Yeah, so if you're 50 pounds overweight,
may not be qualifying for surgery because of the risk-benefit ratio,
yeah,
but certainly treatment options are there.
Okay, caller, you've been patient. I appreciate it. What's your question for Dr. Higa and Morgan?
Hi, my name is Stacy, and I'm 49 years old. I had surgery approximately, it was a gastric bypass, maybe a little over 6 years ago. And, excuse me, since then I've had a hysterectomy, and I've gained a little bit of the weight back. But I'm still very content. I've lost over still 100 pounds.
Wow.
And so my my question is, I'm active, I work out, I do strength training, running, and all of that. My question is, you had mentioned something about the metabolic rate and the set points, and how do you know if, or how would I know if I'm eating enough to sustain and fuel my activity and fuel my body? Because actually I've been trying to lose a few pounds, maybe between 5 and 10, nothing major, but it's been really, really difficult. And so I don't know if the hysterectomy had something to do with that as well, because I noticed that my body did change a little bit after that, and I am coming to that big 50 mark. So how does all that factor into just a normal everyday, body and hormones and things like that, and then diet as well?
So, the natural history of aging is that our hormones change, and in this case with the hysterectomy, induced hormonal change because of probably the ovaries were taken as well. But it's clear as we get older, our fat mass increases, our lean body mass decreases, and if you have to accept that, because that's just the way it is. We can't change that. And if you look at even the movie stars behind us, you'll notice as they age, they have increased fat mass, decreased lean body mass, your metabolic rate decreases. Now, one of the biggest myths about losing weight is that you have to eat to lose weight. And this is kind of promoted by exercise people and things that, well, you're not eating enough, you're not burning enough calories. That's kind of a silly thing. When we're talking about just weight loss, it is about metabolic rate, but it's also about things that you don't think about, like stress management, for example, and sleep deprivation. And it's recommended for most of us to have 8 to 10 hours of sleep every night. And if we don't get it, we're already in a sleep deprivation mode, and that increases weight gain. Right?
Yeah. Ma'am, how much do you weigh right now?
I probably weigh about 190, down from about 320 or so.
That's good.
From when I initially had the surgery about 6 years ago.
So that's 6 years. That's pretty good weight control. Now, at 190, the average BMI is probably still about 33, 34. We are making roads into not just, we can look at the existing anatomy and sometimes modify the anatomy, add to the operation. Sometimes we add medications onto it as well. So it's not as if you're on your own and that's the end of the treatment. I would suggest really talking to your physician or seeing your surgeon and thinking about the next step. Now, it's all about risk benefits, right? Additional weight loss might come at, if it's just about weight, it's one thing. If it's about the recurrence of diabetes and blood pressure, that's another thing. So it's really a medical conversation you have to have. It sounds like you're doing everything right, though. You're exercising, your proper dietary choices, following up with your physician. There are certain things that we can't change.
Yeah. So the doctor's right. It sounds like you're doing all the right things, but you just want to maybe add to what you're doing. Is that right, caller?
I do. I want to add to it, and then I also have that concern about the long-term effects, because I really. I know things have changed even since I've had my surgery, but the long-term effects, and are there any really negative effects, nutritionally speaking, vitamin deficiencies and things of that nature? I know there are certain vitamins that are required for the balance of our years once we have the surgery, but has there been any new information that has been discovered regarding long-term effects, nutritionally speaking?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I do want to, before you get into that, Doctor, I want to get to Morgan's surgery here, too, before we run out of time. I know this hour goes by pretty quick, but she mentioned some of the risks, and I just looked up some stuff on the internet and tried to do a little research on my own. Some of the side effects of some of these surgeries include gastric bypass dumping syndrome. Includes weakness, dizziness, flushing, warmth, nausea, palpitation. Some of the long-term risks include dizziness, nausea, low blood sugar, malnutrition, vomiting, ulcers, bowel obstruction, hernias. Are these rare in terms of having these types of risks?
Yeah,
with most people because of the consultation you go through?
Well,
I'll put this caller on hold here. Hang on, caller. I'll get to you in a moment.
Well, there are risks because this is a major. All these are major operations. So there's risks, just like Dan Blocker, who died of a blood clot. There's risks of blood clots and things like that. So the risks are surprisingly low compared to what we're doing.
Compared to heart surgery, what's the risk factor? Would
Much
you
less.
say?
These operations are on the neighborhood of childbirth.
Okay.
So having your gallbladder removed, that sort of thing.
Right.
So we've come a long way. I mean, the mortality, the risks of these operations have gone way down in the last 20 years, largely because we all do it laparoscopically. There's no big incisions anymore.
Was hers the same?
Yes.
Laparoscopic surgery?
Yeah.
Really? And so how long was she on the table?
Oh, probably about 45, 50 minutes, I think.
That's
Do you remember?
No, I was out.
I hope you don't remember.
She was only out for 45 to 50 minutes? That's it?
Most of our operations take less than an hour.
Wow. Okay, caller, go ahead. You're on the air. I just learned something new. I thought this was like a 2, 3, 4 hour procedure, an hour, and you're out. Okay, caller, go ahead.
It is in some places.
Okay.
Yes, direct the question to the doctor and your guest that 6 years ago I weighed 472 pounds. That's 6 years ago. I'm 6 foot, but I carried a lot of weight. By looking at me, maybe you say, "Hey, it doesn't look that big," but all that fat, that it builds up inside. Now, my doctor, when I first went into him, this is what he told me. And this is what I like about some doctors, is that they told me directly, if you're going to come to me, you're going to have to listen in order for me to help you. Because, even though I was 68 years old, I mean, I'm 68 now, but when this happened, 6 years ago, I was in a heavy, point where in my life that was going to be short, okay? But at the same time, he told me, if you're going to come to me, you're going to have to listen and do the things I ask, okay? And then we probably will keep you from going to surgery and whatnot, okay? He's a cardiologist and also a primary doctor that I have. But I wish more doctors were like him or even your guest the same way, is you have to tell your patient, if you're going to come to me, you're going to have to listen to me. If you want to live another 10, 15 years, you have to listen. And you know what? Right now, after 6 years of listening to him and being guided, all I had to do was, forget the gym, walk around. Like in that case, I just walked around, maybe 5, 6, 7 miles every day. By that walking like there, I lost most of my weight. Okay, I'm down to 353. 353 from 472, that's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And that's only because I did the exercises he told me and cut back on foods. But like they say, your guest and the doctor, it's not necessarily what you intake, or exercising. It's you've got to say to yourself what the doctor told me. If you're not going to listen to me, you don't need to come to me.
Okay.
All right, I'm trying to help you, and if you will listen, it'll help you. And by golly, just by listening to what he was saying, he was sincere. He was demanding, but you've got to say to yourself.
Okay. All right, caller, we get it. Thank you. So the caller was talking about, obviously, listen to your doctor. Feel comfortable with your doctor. Hopefully, Dr. Higa seems very easy to talk to. Very great personality, very lighthearted conversations, kind of joking back and forth. That makes you feel comfortable. So did you feel comfortable with the doctor here?
Very much. And I think it wasn't just personality, it's also knowing, their history. I actually switched doctors. I was originally signed up for a different bariatric surgeon at another center. Mm-hmm. And I luckily have a friend who is the bariatric nurse analyst for Dr. Higa's program. And she said, no, you need to change doctors. And we talked about Dr. Higa, and he's a world-renowned physician, surgeon. He's amazing. There are surgeons who turn down patients who come to Dr. Higa to save their lives.
Yeah.
So that's when I signed up with Dr. Higa, and not only that, but I went in with a certain preconception of what surgery procedure I was going to have done.
But did
And
you go in with the mindset that you were going to listen to what he says?
I did, and
Yeah.
not only did I listen to what he says, he changed my mind on what procedure I wanted to have done. I thought I was going to have a Roux-en-Y done, and he reviewed
A what?
a Roux-en-Y, the traditional gastric bypass.
Gastric bypass.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And he reviews my my comorbidities, my family history, my lifestyle, and he said, I think.
Hold on, caller. Go ahead.
I think this would be the surgery for you, and he was absolutely right. I'm so thankful that I had the surgery that I had. It was the right fit for me.
See, that's part of caller. I'm gonna have to put you on hold here because I got to go to break. So it's the patient. Doctor relationship that's so important, and that's really one of the keys to success. Am I right about that? That's the one. And
Yes.
two, the other caller, previous caller mentioned just walking around. You don't have to join George Brown's gym to lose 100 pounds. Walk around. Don't, instead of parking in handicap parking right next to Save Mart supermarkets, park as far out as you possibly can and walk. I mean, that's exercise, right? Take the stairs, don't take the elevator.
Well, absolutely. And it's been shown that women actually burn more calories doing housework than going to the gym.
Yeah. Amazing.
Sorry for all the.
Yeah, well, it's hard work, believe me.
But I think,
right.
can I?
Yeah,
I think the other caller. I appreciate what the other caller was saying. The doctor has to listen to the patient too, and it sounds.
Oops.
It sounds like the that patient really had a physician that cared.
Yeah.
And that's essential, I think.
Yeah, and I think both the patient and the doctor have to pick up on that if there's a good rapport going. Hey, I got to take a break. I did have a call. Sorry you had to hang up, but call back. We have an open phone line. Had to put you on hold there to finish up on some thoughts with the previous caller, but don't hesitate. 436 MeTV option 11 is our phone number here. We have an open line. And by the way, the number to the Fresno Heart and Surgical Center is 866-433-8558. Back in just a moment.
When you're looking for Whirlpool innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, we'll help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Unscramble.
Sing, honey, sing.
Call them classics, call them the best. Call them favorites, be our guest. Every day there's more to come. Watch and see, there's only one. Me TV.
Try me.
Me. That's memorable, that's me. That's me. Me. You gotta see. That's memorable, that's me. Me TV.
Back here on the program, 436 MeTV option 11. Got an open phone line. Email question, doctor. Got a friend of this program who's been on here before. Not going to mention the name, but lost over 100 pounds. Low or no carb diet. He swears by it. Good or bad idea? Because I'm on a low carb diet.
Well, so we're wondering why there's such an epidemic.
Caller, hang on, please. I'll get to you. I promise. Don't hang up.
Question is, why is there such an epidemic of obesity and diabetes throughout the world? You have to realize that in China, in India, obesity is the primary disease. Nobody's starving to death anymore. And we can only conjecture that as we have transitioned from this idea of fats are bad, fats cause heart disease, this in the 60s and the 50s, we transitioned into, we gave up the fats, we replaced them with carbohydrates. And I think the statistics are the average American, drinks like 100 or 200 gallons of soda every year.
I cut my sodas out. How about you?
They're cut out.
Yeah, but
no sodas.
Carbs are certainly a bad thing in our diet, and that's one thing that has changed significantly over the past 50 years.
Yeah, but I love brown rice. I love wheat bread. I love some of the carbs. I love a little bit of brown pasta, but I limit the intake, and I don't eat it very often, and when I do eat it, I limit the portion. Am I doing the right thing?
Yes, you are. I mean,
worry about blood sugar too. Yeah.
Well, you wonder why when you eat more carbs, you crave more carbs, right? It's as if they put heroin in the mixture or something, right?
Okay.
And so it becomes a self-defeating process.
Let's take this call here real quick. You're on with Dr. Kelvin Higa-Morgan McGrath. Go ahead.
Well, thank you for taking my call, and it's been a very informative show, and I truly appreciate it. Along the same line, I had a Nissen fundoplication surgery, which left me with the same results as if I'd had bariatric surgery. I was wondering, does the Fresno Heart Center, do they do revisions for that, as I've got developed another hernia in that spot?
Absolutely. So at the Heart and Surgical Hospital, we do all forms of surgery, whether it's a Nissen, a hernia surgery. Stents. I don't do that, but the cardiologists do. I could do that. I can watch YouTube, but you don't want me to do that.
Okay.
But yeah, we do all types of surgery, even colorectal surgery.
Okay.
So.
All right. Anything else, caller? Turn that up. Yeah.
One more thing. Also, what are the best vitamins following? Because I've had some issues with nutrition because of the small amounts that I'm having to consume. So what are the best supplements that you would recommend?
That's a good question.
Vitamins are necessary after we do surgeries like Morgan's or gastric bypass or some of the more intensive operations. We didn't really talk about the different types of operations, but there's all different types of operations.
I'm going to ask you about them. But so vitamins, what kind are the best?
Well, I don't know that there's any one type of vitamin that's the best. I think vitamins are, if you're spending more than $10 a month on vitamins, I think you're spending too much, in my opinion. I think most of the commercial vitamins, one a day, Centrum, that sort of thing, is probably adequate for most people.
Fine, huh?
Oh, yeah. I take a Centrum, so.
Yeah. Go ahead, caller. Anything else real quick?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day. I do want to roll a videotape here of Morgan working out at Whole Body Boot Camp over there with Debbie Coate. We took some video of her and her mates over there, her friends working out. And so Morgan, I want to ask you, as we look at this, you work out how many times a week?
Right now it's up a lot because I'm training. So I am 6 to 7 days a week, oftentimes 2 to 3 times a day.
If you weren't training, or if you weren't going to be competing in the World Games, it would be how many times a week?
I'm usually 6 days a week, and sometimes a couple times a day, depending on how much energy I have or what kind of interesting classes are being offered.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner for you are what, generally speaking?
Small portions usually. I'm actually kind of a bacon fanatic, so I usually have bacon with breakfast, which isn't necessarily the best thing. But usually I stick with like lean chicken with vegetables, fruits, and then I just look at portions. I look at what, having a variety of on my plate.
Carbs? Do you eat carbs?
I have some carbs. I tend to try to stay light on the carbs.
Yeah.
And I think some of it's probably everybody's metabolism treats carbs differently. Mine just really likes to put them right to my hips.
Right.
So
yeah.
I tend to try to stay away.
Understandable. So doctors, we're taking a look at Morgan here. Boy, that's a tough workout right there. That really is. I tried that machine, by the way. And that's not as easy as Morgan is making it look like. Okay, let's talk about the different kinds of surgeries here. Doctor, now, I'm no expert. I'm asking you because you are the expert. The 3 main surgeries are bariatric surgery, gastric bypass, and gastric banding, and sleeve gastrectomy. What are the differences, and what do each of them, what do you try to accomplish with each?
Well, they're in the past, we used to call every operation a gastric bypass, and that was wrong. And each operation has its nuances, its pros and cons, a different profile as far as what we're trying to eradicate. For example, if we really want to go after diabetes, we're going to do an operation called the duodenal switch, which is a super bypass. Gastric bypass is pretty good for it, and sleeve gastrectomy is pretty good, but not as powerful. The gastric banding has almost totally disappeared now as far as the operation being performed in the world because it's just not quite as effective. Safe, but not quite as effective for a lot of patients.
Can you describe what each of them is? In other words, what's gastric bypass? Is that when they remove part of your stomach? Or?
No, a gastric bypass is where we take the stomach and partition it, make a small stomach pouch, and bring up a little loop of intestine and bypass the majority of stomach. So it's bypassed, nothing's removed, so it is reversible, and it's been around for 40, 50 years.
Okay, and what about the banding? What is the banding?
Gastric banding is a lap band. It's a little silicone device that fits on the top of the stomach, and you can inflate it to give a sense of satiety or fullness.
Okay. Okay, and then this is what Morgan had, the sleeve gastrectomy, that is, and let me describe it here from what I read, and you make the corrections. You remove about 75% of the stomach?
Yes, about 75% of the stomach, and
Is gone.
Is gone. We take it out and throw it away.
Wow.
So I can never reverse it, but I can convert it to something else. But the stomach looks kind of like a banana when we get done with it.
Okay.
Now, it doesn't act mechanically like you might think. Oh, the stomach's smaller, therefore you're going to eat less. What it does is it acts biochemically to induce satiety, less hunger, less appetite, and reduces the set point. So again, different than diet and exercise, this increases her metabolic rate, so allows her to eat the same amount but keep the weight down by, how much have you kept off?
I've kept off a good 200 pounds.
200 pounds.
Wow.
And more.
That's a lot. And so, doctor, with what Morgan had, and it's the sleeve gastrectomy, you remove 75% of the stomach, so the stomach is kind of a banana shape. But if she didn't watch her diet or her exercise, could that banana-shaped stomach, which is now only 25% of its original size, could it regrow?
Well, it can stretch out with time, but again, it's think about this. There's two aspects to this problem. One is behavior, and one's biology. We're controlling the biology with the surgery. Behavior is independent. So if you're never hungry but you still eat, or you binge eat, or there's some reason that you're eating for no reason, like we sometimes do in front of a television watching, Hogan's Heroes or something like this, naturally you're going to gain some weight because of that. But we are all in equilibrium. We have this fine-tuned machine. We process more than 1 million calories a year, and our weight maintains pretty much stability, right? Mm-hmm. So it's pretty fine-tuned. It's just a little bit can add up. 5-10 pounds a year will add up over a period of time.
Let me ask you a series of questions here. You've already said that it's, look, the surgery that you do is safe. It's like having a baby for the most part. It's not like having 5-way bypass like my father had. He was on the table for like 6 hours. You were in there for an hour. But question is, what's the recovery time then? Once you get out, what's the recovery time, one? And two, what advice do you give your patients, including Morgan, as to what the rehab is going to be like? Because like you said in the beginning of the program, it's not about just going in and meat cutting and giving surgery. What is it about after the surgery?
Well, follow-up is essential, and so we try to see our patients for the rest of their lives. And I liken this to a marriage, not a one-night stand. Mm-hmm. And so when my patients come in, I say, we're going to get married. We're married now. We're hooked for life. And if they don't ever come back, then I say, well, you treated me like a one-night stand. I get offended by this. Right?
Okay.
But
recovery time for this.
Most people are in the hospital in a day and a half. So they come in, have surgery, they're home by little afternoon by the next day.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And back to work within a couple of weeks. Some people go back to work within a week. What was it like for you, Morgan?
I had taken 2 weeks off because it was available. I probably could have gone back like 3 days later. My recovery was so easy. They literally have you walk out of the hospital the next day, and I felt great.
Did the doctor advise you on food, diet, exercise?
Oh, yes.
He did.
Not just the doctor. We have the whole program prepares you for that. You go through a lot of nutritional education.
But one size doesn't fit all, right? Because like Morgan just said, the carbs, they can affect different people in a different way.
So that's why our program is kind of unique. We have individualized care. We have dietitians, we have psychologists, we have nurses. Everybody's on board. We have a mission, and every patient is an individual.
Right. Roll the videotape, Carrie, on the monologue. This, again, is the whole body workout, the boot camp. And I want to ask you kind of a quirky question here. It's maybe a little off topic, but this is where many of these women work out there in Clovis, right? Mm-hmm. Clovis. And so let's say you go in, you work out. There's some of the women there, and I met some of them. Very nice group there, led by Debbie Coate. They're working hard. This is a hard working group. They don't go in there just to socialize and play. They're working out, doctor. But let's say you work out like this, and then 2 days ago on the 4th of July, did you see the Nathan's hot dog eating contest?
I didn't.
Now you know about it. You know about it, and you've seen it before. But how unhealthy is that to down like 75 hot dogs in like, what was it, Carrie? 8, 9 minutes, 10 minutes? I just, for the life of me, can't understand how anybody can do that and live to tell about it. Can you talk about that aspect just for a minute?
I think this hot dog. I think those whole eating contests are really fascinating because it used to be the championship hot dog eater, whatever you call him. He's a professional. He's an Asian guy. He must weigh like 150 pounds, and he can eat like his entire body weight.
What does that all day? Does he just throw it up? I mean,
he doesn't throw it up.
Your tubes up, or
well,
what?
I tell you, I wouldn't want to be in the bathroom after he got done with it. So, but
oh my God!
But just think about how these eaters can shut off the satiety. I mean, if you were to try to eat that, you would physically get sick. You would physically, say I cannot. But they can push through that and put it through that. This is how complicated it is. How complicated it is. Why are we pushing through what our normal healthy set weight is?
What kind of stress does that put on your stomach, your body, your nerves?
People have been known for their stomachs to actually rupture with eating too much. That has happened.
Yeah. Okay, we got about 3 minutes left in the show here. I want to roll another piece of videotape. It's called Upper Back. This is our friend Jack Scow working out over there. Muscle weighs more than fat, right? There's Jack on the left working with one of his clients over there. He's a personal trainer here. He's been on the show before. Morgan, in your opinion, 50-50 in terms of training and then diet? 50-50? Or is it more training and less food, or an equal amount of food and just average training? Which is it? What's the trade-off?
I honestly don't know that it's the same for every person.
What is it for you?
For me, there's a lot coming with the
Hang
nutrition.
on, caller. I'll get to you in a moment. Pardon me?
I would say there's a lot going on with the nutrition. Maybe it's 70-30 for me. I'm not really 100% sure.
But it's not going to be that for everyone. Right?
I don't think so. I would think that maybe it shifts some. I know that at boot camp they'll usually say it's 80% diet, 20% training. For me, because I'm trying to be more competitive with the training, that's now taken a larger role.
Do you do weight training like this?
I do 2 times a week. I do heavy lifting.
Yeah, and is that good, doctor? Good for your body? Or is it stressful?
Well, it's stressful, but you have to be. It's like anything else. If you know what you're doing, and you do it reasonably, it can be very good for you.
Moderation.
If you don't know what you're doing, you can really injure yourself.
All right. Caller, we got 1 minute. Hey, I'll give you 10 seconds. Carrie, can we give him 10 seconds? I swear we'll get out on time. 10 seconds here, caller. Go ahead. You're on the air. Quickly. What's your question?
I'd like to say thank you because of you guys. I called and I scheduled to go to the seminar, and I'm going to start my road to weight loss surgery.
Good deal. Okay, we got to go. And, we're out of time. Gee, you'll have to come back. The hour goes by quick. Morgan, good to see you. Good luck at the World Games later this month in Poland, right?
Poland.
Dr. Higa, good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Thanks for taking the time.
My pleasure.
All right, that's Dr. Kelvin Higa, and he is from the Fresno Heart and Surgical Center. Morgan McGrath, our guest here today. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for all the calls. Back tomorrow with Congressman Jim Costa. See you then. Have a good day.
Giddy up with westerns, we've got the best ones. Superhero sci-fi Sven, grab the popcorn and stay in. Dramas, mystery, and action, take a look and see what happens. Carol, Andy, Lucy, MASH, timeless comedies full of laughs. Hey, that's me!
That's me. That's me, Chief.
Yeah, me,
Me, you gotta see. That's memorable, that's me. Me TV.
The Ballad of Andy and Barney. Andy and Barney were lawmen, bravest you ever did see. Warned every crook in the record book to stay out of Mayberry. They were the law.
Yes, they were the law, and they didn't know fear.
The Andy Griffith Show.
I guess to sum it up, you could say there's 3 reasons why there's so little crime in Mayberry. There's Andy, and there's me, and baby makes 3.
Now on MeTV Fresno.
do like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook. It's nice. But when